Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
I'm Antony.
Today we begin a 2-day project. We have 2 days of one lesson, and the topic is in our Origins section of your magazine. The origin is the source or beginning of something. We often ask, where does that come from? And an origin, that's an origin question. We want to know the source.
没错 ，origin 这个字就是起源的意思，所以这个单元的主题叫做 The Origins， 就是我们找到许多东西的起源，让大家来看一看 Where does that come from？ 这个东西到底是来自于何处？那我们今天要介绍的主题呢是占卜，参透未来的艺术。所以它这边的中文 title 是这样，但英文 title 是 What does the future hold？ 不妨可以把 hold 这个字给圈起来，就是它到底未来包含着什么，蕴含着什么，等着我们去发现呢 ？What does the future hold？
Okay, for today, our first paragraph is, Fortune telling has a history as ancient as human civilization. Human civilization is a period in which people settled down. Originally, most groups of simple peoples traveled and hunted and gathered food, but usually we think of the beginning of agriculture, the planting of crops so that people could, for the same amount of work, they would get more food and they had more stability. They started to build with clay and stone. So we had buildings, we had more population. At this time in human history, we consider this the beginning of human civilization, not the beginning of the human race. But even that civilization goes back thousands of years to the Middle East, to China, to India, where civilizations grew and still impress us today with their many accomplishments.
没错，在这边的话，我们第一个老师提到的东西呢，就是 human civilization， 人类的文明。老师刚刚提了几个重要的字汇 ，agriculture。Agriculture 的意思就是指农业。虽然我们前面有经过很多的像 hunting and gathering 渔猎啊、采集啊，真正的人类文明比较常常会是从这个我们开始有 agriculture 开始。agriculture 这个字的拼法是 agri 后面接 culture culture 一个字。agriculture 指的是农业，从农业以来，大家开始慢慢的是用那种陶土啊，各方面盖房子啊，盖各式各样，于是文明开始产生建立了。这是 human civilization 这个词老师的解释。那整句话呢，他就说了 ，Fortune telling has a history as ancient as human civilization， 指的意思就是像这种去占卜未来，就是看未来会发生什么事情，这样子的历史呢 ，has a history as ancient as human civilization， 跟人类的文明一样的久远，as old as time 那种感觉。
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Okay, next sentence is a question. What is fortune telling anyway? Because in the first sentence we mentioned fortune telling was done by ancient peoples thousands of years ago, but what is it really?
没错，接下来就问了 What is fortune telling anyway？ 那到底什么是占卜呢？在这里的话 fortune telling 要特别注意，它有一个连字号，把它连在一起。fortune 名词 telling to tell your fortune 就是去看你的命，后面要怎么走这样子。
For people who believe it, it's a way to look into the future. Everyone is concerned about the future, maybe a little, maybe completely. Will it rain tomorrow?Is a very simple fortune. We want to know what's going to happen in the future.
没错，所以到最后呢，他就说了 ，For people who believe it， 对于相信占卜、相信算命的人来说呢 ，it is a way to look into the future。你可以洞悉、窥见一下未来会是什么样子。明天会下雨吗？我支持的球队会不会赢呢？等等，像这种东西就是未来的事情。这时候你会用占卜的方式来去算一算，看那个运势如何。
For others, for other people, it's simply an amusing guessing game or a trick. Amusing means it entertains us. It's fun to do it. And some people think, this sort of thing is a trick. You are being cheated.
这样子哈，你看有些人相信，对不对？后面讲 for others 就是那些不相信的人。好，所以 for some, for people who believe it， 那它相对来讲就是 for others 那些不相信的人呢 ，is simply an amusing guessing。如果你讲说 amusing guessing 就是那种让人博君一笑的这样子的一个游戏 ，or a trick 或是这个戏法来骗你的而已。
Okay, let's take a short break and we'll start to talk about a very popular and common kind of fortune telling. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our first type of fortune telling. You know something about this. You may not believe it or do it very often, but you've heard about it. In English, we call it astrology. And the first sentence is, astrology is thousands of years old and still popular today. In the first paragraph, we talked about how ancient fortune telling is at the beginning of human civilization. And astrology is one of these fortune-telling aspects.
Yeah, 没错。再来第二段这个地方呢，我们就提到了第一种那种 fortune-telling method， 就是占星术。好，老师本身也是 astrologer， 好，占星术的高手呢。好，他的第一句话就是说，老师不肯承认 ，astrology is thousands of years old and still popular today。以前数千年以前呢，占星术就开始大家在用了，而且到现在时至今日呢，还是依然非常流行。
Astrologers, the people who practice astrology or study it, observe, they study, how stars and planets move in relation to each other, in relation to Earth, our planet, to determine the future. They believe that we are all connected and planets and stars are interconnected, and so we have a relationship with them. Astrology tries to figure that out.
没错，第二句话就告诉你了 ，astrologers 这些占星学家呢 ，observe how stars and planets move determine the future。他们去观察这些恒星啊、行星它们的运作，它的星象的这个运行，然后呢，to determine the future 就告诉你说，哇，今天什么东西、什么星象移动到什么位置，就代表接下来又会有什么大难啦，或接下来就有好运啦。Determine the future 就能决定未来会是什么样的一个走势。
In Western astrology, and this suggests that there are different kinds of astrology in different civilizations, but all civilizations had astrology. In Western astrology, one's star sign is determined by the day they were born. I was born on July 1st, and that is in the sign of Cancer, the crab.
没错。所以老师呢，他就这边讲了，他说 in Western astrology， 好，他的话如果是在西方的占星术里头呢 ，one star sign 一个人的星座 is determined by the day they were born。他们是由他们出生的那个日期来决定的。像老师的话是7月1号出生的，他本身就是那个巨蟹座，很可爱的小螃蟹。好，所以在这里的话，这应该是很棒的星座吧？我在猜哈，应该是这样。所以在这边的话，你会说 a star sign。What's your sign？ 就是指你的星座是什么？对，这是很早以前算是一个很流行去跟人家搭讪的时候的一个问话方式。所以这句话就讲说了，他们的星座呢是由他们的出生日期来决定的。
Many cultures, remember civilizations, have their own unique, their own special to them, astrological traditions. They all had astrology, but they did it in different ways.
没错 ，many cultures 不同的这种文化，许多的文化呢 have their own unique astrological traditions。在这边特别注意一下 ，astrology 重音会在外 ，astrology。但是如果变成形容词的时候，它会变成 astrological。好，这个重音会改变。那不同的文化，他们有各自他们独特的这种跟占星有关的一些传统了。我们在这举个例子吧。
In Chinese astrology, one's zodiac animal, the 12-year, 12 signs, animal signs, is determined by one's birth year. My birth year was a mouse year. My friends like to remind me, no, not mouse, rat.
Oh, wow, that's not nice. OK， 为什么老师这么说？你很好玩了。在这句话里面提到说 ，in Chinese astrology， 在中国的这种占星术里面呢 ，one's zodiac animal， 好，就是指生肖，一个人的生肖是由 is determined by one's birth year， 是由他出生那一年决定的。所以老师刚刚有提到说，哦，我是鼠年出生的，我说 I'm a mouse。好 ，mouse 就是老鼠。你用 mouse 这个时候就是指那种小小很可爱的小老鼠。但是呢，他的朋友就会说，他说 No, you are a rat. Rat 是那种大的、很丑的那种，爬来爬去，你就想把它打死那种老鼠。所以我说老师的朋友真的是非常不友善，这样。
And after that, we should take a break. Okay, welcome back. Now let's look at our next paragraph. Cartomancy is another popular form of fortune telling. So we looked at astrology in our first paragraph. Now let's focus on cartomancy.
好，接下来我们看这一段，他说 Cartomancy is another popular form of fortune telling。在这个地方 Cartomancy 这个 carto 就是跟卡牌有关的，好 card 好那个 carto 或是制图也会有这个 carto 这样子的一个字根在这里头。那我们今天提到了另外一种形态的这种算命占卜的方法呢，就是透过卡牌。
Cartomancy uses cards for fortune telling, just as my boss said.
哦，老师每次这样挖苦我就是受不了哈。Cartomancy uses cards for fortune telling， 那就是我刚刚所讲的，他们是用卡牌来占卜的。老师刚刚开玩笑讲说，就像我老板说的这样，哦，我可不敢当。
One of the most common types of cartomancy is tarot. I don't know where that word comes from, but in college, some of my friends, they like to play with the tarot cards, and they would tell our fortune.
Yeah， 所以 tarot 就是塔罗牌咯。这边他讲说 one of the most common types， 不要忘记了，如果提到 one of the 后面一定要复数的，才有 one of 的可能性嘛，一定有很多让你选择一个，这样才可以嘛，对不对？所以你会注意到 one of the most common types of cartomancy is tarot. Tarot 就是塔罗牌的意思。
A tarot deck. A deck is a pile of things, especially like poker, playing cards or tarot cards. You start with a deck. Usually you cannot see what they are. One side is without may have color or design, but it doesn't have any information. The other side is what you are trying to look at. A tarot deck is made up of cards that have names like death, the sun, and the moon.
OK， 所以在这边的话就告诉你了 ，a tarot deck。deck 这个字的话，指一副牌的这个意思哦，就很像老师刚刚讲的 playing cards， 像扑克牌一样 ，a deck of cards 就是指一副牌的意思。A tarot deck 就是指一副这个塔罗牌呢 is made up of 是由什么所组成的 ？We say is made up of or is composed of， 好都可以。Of cards that have names like death, the sun, and the moon。这些卡牌里面内容可能包括了像是死神啊。或是太阳啊，或是月亮啦、战车啦等等，它们背后都有它各自的意思。所以老师刚刚提到说，它一面的话是什么都没有，可能只有这个卡牌的图案或是设计的花纹。反过来的话，就是另外的重要的资讯。往往你一打开之后，你要先想好占卜的东西，翻开来之后就知道说，哦，我所想的东西跟这个卡牌它本身具有的意义，再告诉你这个未来背后是什么意思。
Okay, before we start our next type of fortune telling, let's take a short break. Okay, now let's look at our next type of fortune telling, claromancy. Claromancy, or casting of lots, tells a person's fortune by rolling dice or flipping coins. And both of these are done frequently here in Taiwan.
没错，在这边的话，大家应该很熟悉了。但是这个字比较特别一点，叫 claromancy。claromancy 在外国人来讲，你可能他们也听到，就是第 听到的时候会觉得不晓得是什么东西。Or casting of lots， 这个 or 特别注意一下，对于一个陌生的字汇，你要去解释它的时候，它就会用 or 来表达一个同义的概念。所以如果你跟人家讲 clemency， 他不知道你在说什么时候 ，or casting of lots， 人家就懂了，原来是抽签啦，或者像掷骰子这种东西。Tells a person's fortune by rolling dice or flipping coins。Flipping coin 就是掷铜板。那 rolling dice 的话就是甩骰子、掷骰子的意思，用这种方式去判断未来的，我们就可以叫做 cleromancy。
In Asia, this form of fortune telling is best represented by the 易经 or, as he just said, or book of changes. 易经 what? Oh, book of changes. Foreigners who know something about, especially Chinese culture, will certainly know something about the book of changes.
没错，所以在这边他就说 in Asia， 尤其是在那个亚洲的地方呢 ，this form of fortune telling 这样子的算命占卜方式呢 is best represented 是最具有代表性的，就是 by the 易经易经什么易经 or book of changes， 所以用 or 来解释前面这个陌生词汇，在这边又碰到一次喽。
People don't know what the future holds.That's quite clear. We would like to. Some people think they can tell the future, but most people, we don't know.
Yeah, 没错。所以接下来就说了 ，People don't know what the future holds. 大家都不知道未来会发生什么事情。那有的人都很想知道后面会怎么样，但是我们都不晓得。
But some people will use any method to try and find answers to their questions. That goes back to our first paragraph today.Since people were people, they've been interested in, wondering about, concerned about what tomorrow would bring. They were curious about the future. And they found many different ways to interpret what they thought would be the future.
没错，这老师刚才讲的时候，就让我想到一首歌 ，Get Sarah, Sarah, Whatever will be, will be.
Because you can't control the future.
That's right. 所以有机会你会看到他最后这句话讲说 ，But some people will use any method， 用任何的方式、任何手段 to try and find answers to their questions。这边最重要的事情就是 answers to their question。这个介系词常会用 to。A solution to a problem, an answer to a question. 这个 to 的话是常常会看得到的哦，要特别注意。
Okay, we still have a couple of minutes, and we thought we might talk a little bit about astrology, which when I was especially in college, I dabbled in. I read a lot about it, talked with friends who seemed to know a lot about it, and I was already interested in astronomy anyway, 天文学. So I developed an interest in astrology. I was born under Cancer. Cancer, not surprisingly, because it's the crab, is a water sign. So is Pisces, the fish, also water, and Scorpio.The scorpion. Now, that's a desert or mountain animal, so that doesn't quite fit. But the idea of water is supposed to be that it represents emotion. And we very quickly pick up or feel what other people are feeling, and we don't even have to talk about it. Pisces and Cancers and Scorpios can figure out how other people feel. So if someone's trying to trick us, we can feel that, oh, this isn't right, no matter what they say.
Wow, 所以简单讲一下哦。老师刚刚提到说，他在大学的时候有 dabbled in， 就是有稍微涉猎了一下这种天文学还有占星术。后来老师就说呢，他是本身是在这个巨蟹 Cancer， 好巨蟹星座这个时候出生的嘛。那巨蟹是属于水象的星座，除了巨蟹之外，还有双鱼，还有天蝎，这三个都是。那水系星座的人呢，他本身就是情感比较丰富一点，而且容易去察觉对方的情绪。如果说今天你想要骗他，然后想要骗他们这些水象星座人，他们很快就会发现说，哼，你在骗我，想都不要想。所以呢，这种人情感很丰富，他们对于情绪的掌握 不管是自己还是对方呢，都是非常非常敏锐的。好，这是他们属于水系星座的特色。
And your sign?
My sign is I'm Gemini. 我是双子座。
Okay, Gemini is air. There's air, water, and earth and fire, the four main elements. Let's see, air is also, I have to think about this, Gemini and Libra and Aquarius. And air represents thinking, mind, mental. That's why he's so smart.
Oh, really? 哦，好开心。好，所以老师就说，风象星座的人呢，包含双子座、水瓶座，还有天秤座这三个星座，它本身属于这种 mind 思想，所以通常的话，思想的速度会比较快一点。然后老师说我，难怪我这么聪明，我听了就好开心。
Okay, no matter what your sign is, you are always welcome to join us on Enjoy English School. Till the next time, bye-bye.
第52页，追根究底，占卜，参透未来的艺术。
What does the future hold? Fortune-telling has a history as ancient as human civilization. What is fortune-telling anyway? For people who believe it, it's a way to look into the future. For others, it's simply an amusing guessing game or a trick. Astrology is thousands of years old and still popular today. Astrologers observe how stars and planets move to determine the future. In Western astrology, one's star sign is determined by the day they were born. Many cultures have their own unique astrological traditions. In Chinese astrology, one's zodiac animal is determined by one's birth year. Cartomancy is another popular form of fortune-telling. Cartomancy uses cards for fortune-telling. One of the most common types of cartomancy is tarot. A tarot deck is made up of cards that have names like death, the sun, and the moon. Claromancy, or casting of lots, tells a person's fortune by rolling dice or flipping coins. In Asia, this form of fortune-telling is best represented by the I Ching or Book of Changes. People don't know what the future holds, but some people will use any method to try and find answers to their questions.